Hello, Custodian build. Let's go. Custodian is a rank 17 Jericho frigate guard, and it's basically useless. Just kidding. Um, the basic strat is using Plasmatron with Curved Reflector. I just go ahead and go complete damage. So that means having Pulse Discharger and a Gun Adapter. And I go ahead and oh, sorry, this one. I'll just go ahead and have extra damage here, extra damage here. I'll go over this in a second. So the primary thing is anti, interceptor, and fighter that are close to you. That's what's great about this. You just walk up, pop the pocket-nuke, and they're all gone. 18,000 damage to enemies within range. So, and again, I think you want to be closer to the enemy when you pop it rather than farther to get the most damage out of it. So keep that in mind. That's kind of why I have Ritter engines. You can change what you want out. You just want to be able to move it around a little bit so you can kind of get close to them when you pop it. And that's basically it. Other than that, this thing is very tanky. Yeah, don't use the special module. That's, in my opinion, it's kind of a noob trap because you activate it, people just swirl around you and you die. And again, turn fights and other things like that are usually very popular right now, and it's very hard to that. Oh look, hit that jive, made the Helios. Good for him. With the range meta also, there's really no place that you're able to not get shot in the back when using the other module. I recommend this because you're just, have taken this almost all the time. Going with which, energy converter must have. It works great with the high shield rate. Same with this. This is like a better multi-phase. Slightly better, just because it has lower cooldown. I think it's higher shield resistance. Yes, yes, and also because it regenerates your hull. So that's really useful. Low recharge time, and then you want to have dual shield boosters because that will help you stay alive for a lot longer. And then the build layout's pretty simple. You want to have this so you can use the weapon as more often. Overcharge it without losing everything. So like sometimes you'll pop a mini-nuke and you'll have like a little bit of firing time left for having to cool down your weapon. So basically having this just helps you to pop the mini-nuke more often and have a few extra shots because this thing overheats pretty quickly. Damage. This is just your standard shield resistance passively, and then you want to have a lot of shield volume. So I just use this. And this is also a torp build. That's why we have econ, torpedo, and then of course just for energy needs, and then for crew. This doesn't really matter. I go ahead with that. That's fine. If you want more range, obviously resistance. I want either you can go for speed or damage. If you're running after destroyers all the time, you can go for damage, but I like the speed. It just helps hit smaller fighters closer to me or the frigates. It's just helpful. I want max speed. You can go ahead and change it for strafe or something else, but I like having speed to move around the battlefield. That way I can follow my team or capture a beacon. And of course, chase after people. Again, extra damage. This doesn't really matter. Go ahead, do this or that. I'm usually just running around, so I use this. I don't think it really matters. That's fine. That way I can use my shield boosters more often. You can go ahead and use this. No, sorry, not this. This. That way, if there's an ECM draining your energy, you can use that. Just your standard shield duration. Again, I want to use it more often. This, again, goes back to the torpedo weapon. Sorry, I'm listening to myself as I'm recording it. Very jarring. Anyway, so that allows me to use torpedo more and more often. I just want my energy. You can do either one. I typically need the energy, so I just keep that one. And again, I want extra damage. I would need the extra damage sometimes not in the middle of a fight, so I need to carry over. So that's why I grabbed this. Like if you're dogfighting people, this is probably a bit better. But this is better for me because I can kind of walk up somewhere with the damage with me already. This is just your standard. I'm not really. I don't have to explain everything to y'all. I'm just going through it a little bit. But I need extra damage. That's it. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't really get more different than that. Honestly, I think that this is probably the best build for it. Um, Mostly because I think the pocket nuke, which is just holding this down and it explodes around you, that is such a good counter for PvP in general. I have killed so many people. It is the most fun I have ever had to Dark Conflict, except for maybe using Tyrant. But other than that, this is so much fun because people just don't recognize that they will die. Um, I will tell you, I have like a 2 hour video of me trying to use this weapon, and I have been screaming and losing my mind because I was like, this weapon sucks. You know, it's not really good special speed, not really good damage. Idly closer. Rate of fire does nothing for this weapon, so go full damage. And this thing can 1 or 2 3-shot any frigate. It can shoot fighters. It's really a great weapon once you buff the damage on it a lot. And that's just my experience, but you can see this at yourself. A charged shot is 15,000 damage, and it's got pretty good projectile speed. You don't need a ton of range. This is not to be a range ship. It's better to be really effective close by than be not so effective far away. And that's why you kind of had the speed and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's a great ship. I really love it because it's kind of good against everything. And it's generally pretty darn tanky. A friend of mine, well, an acquaintance on the Discord server, he mentioned, one thing that this is probably weak about is in open space without cover. Because this thing can get outranged pretty quickly. And it's tanky, but, it's very hard to literally regenerate the damage you're taking, especially in, also destroying meta as well. And long-range frigates, things like that. So keep that in mind. This is a great hard check with anything fast and close to you, and it's mostly good with allies and beacons. Anything that's to do with territory is probably better. Open space is not really this thing's cup of tea, and it's just not really strong enough or really fast enough to actually really chase after a Desi and not die. That's typically a bad idea in general. So, I mean, if it's hard to do in a fighter and interceptor, this is, as tanky as it is, it's not good to just run clear through open space. So keep that in mind. Don't use it stupidly. It's good in a lot of things, probably more than other ships, and very, very reliable. This thing is very consistent. You don't have to, always be super stressful on the edge dogfighting with other things. This is pretty easy to use and be good at. So that's why I like this ship a lot. It's one of my favorites now. Just been playing with it and realizing with it. Yeah, it's just so much fun to just go anywhere or chase after someone that's about to attack your ally and they kind of have lower health and just pop them. It's fantastic. They just die. I've had 2 in 1 hit, 3 in 1 hit. It's really fun, and it does really punish people that chase after you. This is one of the only times that kind of the old Guard Frigate mentality. So like way back in the day, Guard Frigates were pretty good, and you had to respect them because they had a lot of tank, a lot of health, and they were really good at hitting ships and had the using where is it? This right here to make fast ships slower. So you couldn't just walk up to it and kill it. You had to actually fear it and give it range and probably do something else like capture the beacon or take out somebody else. It's not so much that way anymore because Guard Frigates have kind of sucked recently. Well, not really recently. In fact, Custodian and the newer one, Confessor, are kind of returned to form. But this Custodian really embodies that fear the Guard Frig mentality because people will learn. Even I'm going to upload a video, hopefully pretty soon, going against another fairly good player. And they didn't learn. And they ended up leaving me alone because they learned that, hey, I can't just walk up to this guy and kill him because he's going to... I mean, it's just a timer. You can't kill me within the time it takes for me to pop off 3 nukes and you're dead. So you have a choice to make. The only other thing, before I finish up, is this thing is really weak to... I say mid-range, but by that I mean like, 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers, and that's Loki. Loki is overpowered in general, but this really hurts against it. The projectile speed is enough to hit a Loki at range. You can't really chase it. It walks away, and it has energy-burning weapons. So you're going to get pretty hard countered by any Loki or anything like that. So keep that in mind. You can try it, but it's been my experience that this thing shines great in a lot of situations, but not really against that. So if you see something like that, you're going to die eventually. I mean, you won't die instantly, but you're gonna die eventually, especially if he just has a line of sight with you and you're the only one around. You're just gonna do anything about it. What's nice is this build has. I just want to go over one more thing. Again, you can torp against an object and convert it into damage for hitting, for getting like a lot of alpha damage on somebody fast. That works great, so keep that in mind. That's a great use case for this as well. Again, this has plenty of resistance, plenty of shield volume, so you can do that and not die. And also torp people in the face. Yeah, I mean, you will die eventually. Don't be dumb about it, but you can do that and it'll work in this. So this thing is pretty flexible and pretty useful. That's it. I mean, that's it. So hope you all enjoyed it. I do like this ship a lot. I thought it was sucky. I thought it was crappy. And it, every ship has its certain playstyles that it likes and does better or worse in. I like this. I like this playstyle. I like the build. So I think it works out pretty well. Let me know your thoughts. And thanks for watching. Bye.